time is sure to fly by. Don't forget to take a moment, take a look up in the sky. Think about the blessings, all the blessings that you got. It's a great day to be alive.
Welcome to another edition of Faith in Sports. Good evening. I'm your host, Rick Bowles, and my co-host is Mr. James Carnell. We won't get into it today, but he was on a cruise last week, and we kind of put him in his place, didn't we?
Maybe. Not too much. We're nice enough.
We were fairly nice. But Faith in Sports will be highlighting coaches, student athletes, and all things SAGU athletics. SAGU is a Christian university located in the heart of Waxahachie, Texas. Our sponsor for the program is VCR Now. They are a technology organization that can fulfill all your LED audio, video, lighting needs, whether at a sports stadium, arena, house of worship, or even business. Well, Mr. Carnell, the Super Bowl is over. Football is over for a while, at least at that level. And you claim to have made a pretty good prediction about last night's Super Bowl game, even though I hit the numbers right on, 38-35.
You did.
Yeah.
I heard it. I went back and listened to it because last week being on vacation.
Yeah, and you missed being here with us.
I missed you guys so much. Not at all. Had a great time in the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. Great opportunity to to relax.
Moving right along.
Yeah. So going back, I listened to the game. I listened to our predictions, and you were correct on the scores. Mm-hmm. I was, however, correct in my game breakdown. I went back and JB was listening. Right? I mean,
I can confirm that.
Yeah.
And it was 34-37.
Yeah. So.
Oh, mine was 34-37.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it was close.
Yeah, we're close. Yeah.
But I predicted
exactly right.
the Eagles.
Yeah. You did. You predicted the Eagles. Yeah. And I said I gave it to the it factor of Mahomes. That was going to be the key in the game. And it turned out to be, he took the team on his back and carried him down the field, and just, man, I mean, even with the gimpy ankle, I was impressed.
Yeah, I really wondered if he would come back, but he did. So here's some interesting facts. It was the first time since 1999 that the league MVP also won the Super Bowl. 1999 was the Rams against the Titans, because I was in Nashville. I remember that game. And Kurt Warner, was the quarterback for that. Yep.
Yeah.
The game last night had 73 combined points, which was the highest scoring Super Bowl in history. Nope. Which one was?
Super Bowl 29. It's 49ers beat the Chargers 49-26. There's a total of 75 points in that game. But last night, I thought last night was going to be it. Yeah. Depends on what happened in the last few minutes, but yeah.
And then Travis and Jason Kelce are the only brothers in history to play against each other in a Super Bowl.
That was pretty cool.
The mom was being interviewed quite a bit.
Yeah.
They always say, who are you going to choose? She goes, I'm going to root for the offense the whole night.
Because both of her sons played on offense. Yeah, it was fun to watch. That was pretty cool. There were a lot of interesting little takes out of the game, which was kind of fun, little side stories and all that. But both Texas boys, quarterbacks, that was really cool too. With Mahomes and with Hurts, both being from the state of Texas, I thought that was pretty awesome.
Yep.
Also, did you realize that Kansas City used to be the Dallas Texans?
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, before the Hunt family moved them to Kansas City. So, we had a lot of Texas connections in the game last night. But I think for me, personally, the best part of the game was that at the end of the game, we had one Super Bowl trophy awarded to the Kansas City Chiefs. Mm-hmm. MVP awarded to Patrick Mahomes, Texas boy, right? And the player of the year, Walter Payton Man of the Year award, went to a Dallas Cowboy, Dak Prescott.
And did you know that he got booed?
He did.
By Philadelphia.
By Philadelphia.
Terrible.
Which brings me to the next point.
Okay.
And Philadelphia got jacked. 0, nothing. No trophies. No wins last night.
Walk away
That
losers.
was the best part of it all for me. I mean, hey, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan, and I love to not like the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, it was a fun game, and you always want that. So it came down to whoever had the ball last.
Yeah, it was great.
Well, we had a busy week in sports around here last
we
week. Men's basketball defeated Southwestern Christian College of Oklahoma last Thursday, 94-81, and Mid-American Christian University, 84-74. and they have a record of 18-8. Excuse me. Going into their final 2 games of the regular season. The women's basketball had another tough 2 games against the same colleges and losing both of them, and we're going to wish them well as they prepare for next season, and I know they made some improvements, so I'm sure we'll see some great winning games next year. They finished their season against Central Christian College in Kansas and Langston College this Saturday in Oklahoma. Baseball traveled to Costa Mesa, California to compete in a weekend tournament against Vanguard University, but they lost all 3 games, but have a record of 6-4. They will host Louisiana State University Shreveport tomorrow here at the SAGU Sports Venue at noon, if you want to come out and check that out. And then they will also host Mount Mary College of South Dakota this Friday at 3:30. And then the softball team played Simpson University out of California this past Saturday and lost 1-3. We'll get into that a little bit more with our guest. And the Lady Lions are 3-2 so far in the season. They are hosting doubleheader games starting Friday against the University of Southwest, and they're located in New Mexico. You can go to SAGULions.com for all the schedules, all the information about SAGU Sports, and SAGU.edu/sports tickets to purchase your game tickets. Well, speaking of that, we are excited to introduce you to Coach Steve Watson, best known around here as Coach Watty. And, Coach, thanks for being on the show tonight.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for asking me to be here.
So we'll get in this a little bit more when Carnell asks a few questions in their relationship and how well they know each other.
We've known
know each other very well.
A long time.
Yeah.
When I went to bed last night, I thought, James is going to talk about me.
No, there are certain things, Watty, we've been sworn to secrecy on.
Yes,
so
that's right.
We won't bring up those things. We'll only bring up the fun things.
What he didn't say is he had a lot of nightmares last night. Well, let's talk about it. So you graduated from SAGU in what year, and what were some good memories you take away from your time here as a student?
Well, I graduated in 1991 from SAGC.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. And I came in 1987, so I transferred from a JUCO in California, and then I was on the Watty plan.
The Watty plan.
As least as I can do, but graduate. And I loved every minute of it. I came to SAGU not really knowing the Lord, and it's funny, I met my wife here, and I mean, if that's the best memory, that's a great memory I had. I met her on the doorstep of Collins, and she was a super Christian. Like, she never did anything. I've never met a person like this. I was like, you've never even cussed? And she goes, no. You never even tasted alcohol? I'm a wild guy from California. She's like, no. And she says, I don't date people who don't love Jesus. And I was like, I love Jesus. And I don't even know if I did.
Instant convert.
Galvation before salvation. I tell you, works a lot. I'm telling you.
Well, that's great. Well, tell us about your family and if you have any hobbies that you enjoy.
Yes. So I have 4 kids. I have 2 older daughters. They both came here. My oldest daughter teaches in Princeton. She's a coach and teaches 7th grade science.
What does she coach?
Well, it's funny. She coaches everything in middle school.
Yeah, that's true.
And the real funny part about it is she said to me the other day, she goes, well, they want me to coach soccer. And, Dad, I don't know nothing about soccer. And I'm like, YouTube.
Yeah, you're going to learn real quick. Yeah.
So she's doing fantastic over there. My middle daughter just graduated last fall.
Maddie, you've gotten to know her a little bit. What a wonderful young lady.
Yes. If you don't mind, I'd like to tell a little story
Sure.
about
this
is I really think it's an act of God. You know, she's been faithful. She's the hardest worker in my family. She doesn't have the talent like her older sister. So she works hard all the time. So we fortunately won the national championship last year in the NCAA. And her last at bat, she never hit a home run. This is the championship game. She came up to me and she said, I walked down and I was like, just swing with everything you got. And So she comes up, and in the bottom of the fifth, national championship game, she hits a ball so far, it was just unbelievable. And that was her first home run and only home run.
Wow.
And I really contribute that to the Lord. I really do. It's like all the hard work and all this, and she ends up
Going out on top.
going on like that.
And she was also a scholar athlete.
She's a scholar athlete.
I mean, that's to me is, that's
Mhm.
that's amazing.
And
That's
she's
awesome.
helping me this semester because she's an English. She's going to be not an English teacher, but an elementary teacher. And so this semester, because she graduated in the fall, she's our GA. She's doing a great job, and she will be getting her job next year
That's
at an
great.
elementary school.
That's
So
awesome.
is it hard to coach your own daughter at the college level? I mean, do you feel tempted to not, show favoritism, and do you
Oh,
think
yeah.
about that a lot?
Well, I coached my girls on since they were both little.
Right.
And like I said, I have 4 kids. My first 2 were girls. So I was like, God, what are you doing? I'm a baseball player. And so that's how I really got into softball. But yes, since I coached with her so long, I never treated her any different. And no person who can really just look at the game and say he's giving favoritism. The best thing about it was she was good.
Yeah, that
And
helps.
so it really helped me. But no matter what, if you're the coach's daughter, there's always a stigma.
Mhm.
Always. Don't tell her everything, So she always felt a little excluded because, they don't want the coach to know anything.
Sure.
Mhm.
But she did great,
Yeah.
and proud of her.
She was one of our FCA leaders.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that a whole lot.
Yep.
You have 2 other children, 2
Two
boys?
other boys, and I'd say they're my wife's boys because they're not athletic. But no.
Took after the Henniger side.
Yeah,
huh?
the Henniger side, which is my wife's maiden name. And but proud of them. My son's going to Collin College, wants to do cybersecurity. And then my 16-year-old, when he turned 16, he got a job. I didn't have to push him. He's working at In-N-Out Burger, and he's doing a good job right now.
California burger chain.
Yeah.
Right.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, how long have you been coaching softball here at SAGU?
5 years.
5 years.
This is my 5th season.
And what brought you here to coach? I mean, what was the
It was
pull?
me.
Yeah, right,
It
sure.
Was what?
It was me.
That if I knew he was going to be here,
You would have
I
said
wouldn't
that.
be here.
Hey, let me tell you, you may not know this, but this is true story. True story. Terry Phipps, who was our VP student, what was his title? I can't-
Development.
Development. Thank you. And he was also over athletics. He calls me up one day and he says, "Hey, we're looking for a softball coach." And I said, "Watty Watson. Give Watty a call." He goes, "Really? What do you know about it?" I said, "Dude, he's awesome. He's phenomenal. Give him a call." And I just forgot about the conversation until I get the notice that somebody had just been hired to softball. Now, it wasn't just me.
It wasn't you.
No.
And Terry Phipps did not call me.
He didn't.
And so, but the person who I've been real close to, and for some reason God has had him in my life, my whole life, like every position I've had in the church, because I'm a pastor too, he had a part to do with every part of it.
Wow.
And that's Jory Carpenter.
Really?
Hey,
He's
Roy.
the one who said who talked to Dr. Goding and said, you got to hire Coach Watson. Now, I will say this because this is the truth. I knew back 5 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, that God called me to be a coach. I did not know I was going to be a softball coach because I played baseball. And so I left a church. It was a nice church in Frisco, Texas. Worked there for 15 years under John McKenzie. And it was just time. And I came to Terry Phipps' office, and I sat across from him. And I always called Terry Phipps Coach. I don't know why.
Yeah,
I'm the only one who does, probably. I said, "Coach Phipps, God's called me to be here." And he looked at me and he said, "Well, God didn't call me to let you be here." So that's how God works, though.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
knew it was going to happen. And then 2 years later, they called me, and it happened.
That's
That's it's funny because Terry and I remember the conversation we were at that what is that place, the Asian food place we always go to eat over here. Anyway,
Hibachi.
Hibachios. Thank you.
Yeah. Free plug.
There you go. Free plug. we'll get advertising dollars later. We were just sitting there and we were talking, and we were just talking about baseball. We were talking about our days. Remember Coach Phipps? The reason we call him Coach Phipps is he coached us for, I think, a year. He kind of filled in.
Yeah.
And we always teased him because sometimes he would forget his cleats and would come out in his dress shoes.
And his penny loafers.
Penny loafers.
I still have a figure in my mind.
I do too. I can picture this.
Did he know anything about baseball?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was actually Watty was coaching the team back then. It was
Yeah, and it's true.
Yeah.
It
Our
was.
coach left, and
Yeah.
SAGU hired me as a player coach
Yeah.
in my last year. And
So you actually got money?
Yes.
Wow.
I got tuition.
Scholarship.
You got
yeah.
tuition.
And we took
And a pitching
the
machine.
trip. Yeah, don't tell everybody. Oh, James, I knew you were going to tell everybody that. I did swipe the pitching machine.
Wow.
It was for youth ministry.
It was ministry
for God's
purpose.
work.
Yeah. Hey, we paid for it.
That's right.
Yeah, we
That's
did.
right. But
Yeah.
anyway, so we took a trip to Southeastern.
Yeah.
I took a trip. I drove the shuttle bus all the way to Southeastern and played them. It was
So is it
interesting.
true? Carnell keeps telling me that he helped build the field where Schaefer is now. Is that
Yeah.
true that you
Yeah.
guys
Well,
actually?
yeah. Well,
put it
Watty
Yeah.
came in '87. So the first team, the
Mhm.
very first team, was probably 2 years before you got
Yeah.
here. I remember because it was at that time the student life director, was just we were raising
Mhm.
funds. We were getting people in the community to help us donate, and so we were out there doing the work. Well,
Mhm.
he found out that I had a degree in electronics, and he goes, "Hey, can you wire the sprinkler system?" So Kenny McFessel and I were
Yeah.
out at 10 o'clock at night with flashlights wiring the sprinkler system for the baseball field.
Well,
we
we
were
s-
all excited.
It was, yeah. I
We-
mean,
We
get
have
a
a ways
chance
to go,
do
but it's definitely an improvement since those
Mhm.
days. That's for
oh
sure.
yeah. Well, awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your teams right now. Recruiting was always a big deal. We always talk about recruiting when we talk about with our coaches. What are some of the challenges and all that. But I want to just go back to what we were talking about with some of your accomplishments last year. You had once again you won the NCCAA National Championship game.
Mhm.
You did great. I think you dropped your first game, right? And then y'all came back and went and pool played and you won, and then you won the championship game in a dramatic fashion,
Yeah.
right? Came back down 3-0 if I'm not mistaken, and then y'all came back and went up, and that was exciting. But you also had some big awards, good awards from that team last year. Talk a little bit about that, and then the expectations coming into this year.
Well, last year was an interesting year for us. We had a great squad, great pitching team, and I've always said this: I'd rather be playing well at the end of the year.
Yeah.
In the middle of the year, we struggled. You always struggle during the year, but we struggled pretty big time with. You have 27 girls, young women, and you have 27 attitudes, and it's not, and it's sometimes difficult.
Yeah.
And I work on team all the time. Team. We preach team. Team is loving your team.
Mm-hmm.
Team is accepting what your coach says, because that's part of the team. Team is doing what you're supposed to, because if you don't do what you're supposed to, you're letting your team down, because everybody's expected to do what they're supposed to do. And so we just came in rolling. It was just like everything came together out there. And even the game we lost, we actually lost in the last inning.
It was a walk-off, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Something
And
like that,
and we just came out. It was just crazy.
yeah.
We came out hitting, pitching, and one of our girls who probably hit 2 home runs hit 4 home runs, I believe, in the
Wow.
whole and she was MVP, Rosie Guadarrama.
Uh-huh.
And we played our rival, which MacU was supposed to be the
team. to beat.
team,
Yeah.
and we had a grand slam to beat them.
Yeah.
And so after that, it just kind of rolled.
Yeah, y'all had so Rosie was the tournament most outstanding player.
Oh yeah.
And then Ashlyn and Rosie both made the all-tournament team.
Yes.
And then you had second-team All-Americans, two of them, Autumn and Michaela Kelly, Autumn Graham.
Mm-hmm.
So you had a strong team. So this year challenges, or
None of them are here.
none of them are. That is a challenge. Yeah.
But it's okay. One of the things you asked me about, being at SAGU is my faith is in the Lord.
Mhm.
It really is.
Yeah.
I pray about my team. I pray for my team. And so when punches come, I just roll with whatever it is because I
Yeah.
know that in the big picture, God's going to take care of it. I know it sounds spiritual, but it's the truth. And I don't get too tied up in being all worried about anything because I know there's a reason for everything.
Yeah.
As long as we're doing what we're supposed to, I believe God's going to take care of the rest. And I will tell you this year's team, probably the best offensive team I've had.
Awesome.
Now, pitching, we're just young, and we're going to get our licks.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's exciting. So you have 4 doubleheader games coming up this weekend. So that's a lot.
Yeah, we have 2 doubleheader games.
2 doubleheader games.
Yeah,
so
4
4 games,
games,
2
yes.
doubleheaders. Okay. So your pitching, that really challenges your pitching when
Yes.
your depth is not there.
One of my strengths, I believe, is I know the game
Mm-hmm.
very well. And so pitching-wise, I call the pitches. And so I call the pitches based on what I see the batter's doing.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a tall girl, long arms, we're not going to put the ball over the plate
Mm-hmm.
because she's going to smack it. She's going to have trouble in the inside pitch. If it's a short arm, kind of bulldog kind of girl, and there are some bulldogs. Sorry about that. And
Talking about personality.
yes,
yeah,
personality.
Not looks. Yeah,
I watch every pitch in my book is the challenge. Now I'm probably one of the most competitive coaches as far as in everything I do. I beat everybody to the light. I want to be first all the time, just the way I'm inbred. So every pitch is a challenge. Every pitch is the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I preach this. I'm like, you make the play you're supposed to make.
Mm-hmm.
If you make the play and you hit the ball you're supposed to hit, then you're going to be in every game.
Yeah.
And last year, we had a historic win. It was the number 1 team in the nation. We never beat a top 25 team, and we beat the number 1 team in the nation, which is Oklahoma City. And before I got here, I just heard preaching from Coach Godding. They're going to destroy us, all this. He's watched many games, and it just shows you that if you do what you're supposed to, then things can happen.
Yeah.
Because they have D1 pitching, which is Division I pitching that come down. And you have to keep the game close.
Yeah.
When you keep it close, you have an opportunity. And we jumped an opportunity. We actually
Doing the little things.
the little things.
Doing it all the time. That's awesome. Yeah.
Well, Coach, thank you for being here, but you're not off the hook yet. We have some trivia for you.
Okay.
So we'll find out how well you know softball. So when we return, we'll do that. But first, our producer, James Bridges, will tell us more about our sponsor.
Thank you, Rick. I was supposed to have music and it didn't happen, but we're gonna just roll with it here. We're just gonna do the ad as it is. Driven by producing quality LED video boards, state-of-the-art audio and video production systems at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is their business, but it's their focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with their schools that sets them apart. From their 24/7, 365 help desk, the training lab in their hometown of Red Oak, and a sports marketing business that puts money back in the hands of the athletic departments they support, VCR Now is built to last. VCR Now has provided SAGU with a state-of-the-art LED scoreboard in our basketball and volleyball arena, so feel free to come take a look. For more information, visit vcrnow.com.
Awesome. Thank you, JB. So, all right, Watty, we're gonna test your softball trivia knowledge now.
Okay.
All right. So we're gonna see how well we can do. But before we do, is it true that when you were in school here, that you were desirable by some of the
Oh,
girls?
yeah, baby. Yeah, I was a Cali boy. I had my sleeves rolled up. They didn't know what hit them here.
How'd you
And
get
back
by
then-
with the dress code?
Oh,
You just
Well,
did
we
your
got
thing.
by.
we got.
James was a big part of that.
We got by. All right, let's go into something. We've known each other for 30-something years.
Yep.
Man,
Y'all are old.
I know. It's crazy. All right. The U.S. softball team won the back-to-back gold medals. And what year was the second medal won? So we know they won back-to-back. But what year was the second gold medal won? That's in, I'm going to give you 3 options here. 2000, 2004, or 1996?
2004.
Oh, that's a very good guess. But it's wrong. It's 2000. Yeah, A, that's all right. A batter swings and hits the ball after laying down the bat and running to first. The ball hits the bat in fair territory. What's the call on that play?
It's a fair ball.
It's live. That's right. The
Mhm.
batter's not out.
Mm-mm.
Very good. Yeah. All right. So if they hit the ball a second time, would they be ruled out?
No.
No. There you go. Very good. Good job. All right.
But
That- that
if they intentionally did it, then they're going to call them out.
Yeah.
But if it's just
It's just
accident-
attention. Yeah. I've seen it bounce back up. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
hit a pop up once, and I was like, "It's coming back down. I'm gonna hit it out."
All right. When and where was the first softball game played outdoors? Here we go. Is it Minneapolis in 1895, Boston in 1895, or Detroit in 1895?
Boston.
Boston. Wrong. It's Minneapolis. But you're good. You're good on the guesses there.
All right, so I've got one for you here.
Okay.
While the umpires are walking the field prior to the game,
Mm-hmm.
they notice that all the following in a player's hair. Which one is illegal? Beads, bobby pins, or bandanas?
Beads.
Nope,
Bobby-
bandanas. But why? Why?
Why?
Have you ever heard that?
We wear bandanas.
Yeah,
See,
Yeah.
that's just
Maybe it's
tells you
changed.
about the umping.
Yes.
that or maybe it's changed since
Yeah.
this was. You never
Yeah.
know, but yeah, I thought that's
That is
beads would make more sense for me.
jewelry and
Yeah.
necklaces. I get, all
could get-
that. But
yeah.
Can we ask questions that happens in the 20th century?
In the 20s.
Well, the whole idea here is, that we stump you. I mean, we can't
Oh,
can't have you show us up.
Hey,
I mean, come on. I
But
mean,
you did good, considering I was going to actually I was trying to give you hand signals. Which answer?
That's fine.
All right. Hey, Coach, you got a few correct. We appreciate your time being here.
So
And
how many get?
what did you give him, JB?
One, but the most important question, it's the one that matters.
That's right.
Let's give that to Coach Watty. Come on.
All right.
So I before we say goodbye, I do have another question for you. So besides the game of softball itself, what do you want the Lady Lions, your team, to learn while they're here at SAGU and playing? Besides the academics and the spiritual,
Yeah.
but playing on the team in softball, what would you like for them to really come away with?
Well, I believe that I want them to come away with the attitude of achieving. Okay, so they can do anything. And that's one thing I try to preach is like you can do anything if you put your mind to it. And I encourage them, one of the downfalls in a lot of softball players is they have doubt. Well, they don't have to have the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
They have the ability. That's why they're here. And they got to trust that. And they got to trust what God's put in them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's what I would say.
good,
Cool.
good.
Awesome. Well, we've had a great day.
Yeah, it's been good.
Great time, Coach.
Yeah.
Thanks for being with us,
Yeah,
man.
I loved it.
I'd love to have time to have a few more stories about you two guys, but you know what?
Well,
We need to get J-Roy in here.
yeah, and if I tell stories, I might not have a job here anymore.
That's what Terry told me when I first came
Yeah.
here. James, please don't tell some of those stories. And
Yeah.
I've had to really watch
But
it.
you know what? That just shows you what God can do.
That's
Yep,
right.
That's right. He can change us.
That is exactly right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in tonight. Faith in Sports is a broadcast property of SAGU. It's a Christian university located in Waxahachie, Texas, and has over 70 undergraduate and graduate degrees, including on-campus and online options. Faith in Sports is sponsored by VCRNow.com. Visit sagu.edu for more information. Also, stay up to date with all things SAGU athletics at sagulions.com.
See ya, everybody.